episode 128, Rob. We're back.
Back.
You were quick on the music trigger finger there, too. I was like, let's go. 3, 2, 1. But you're like, mute, like, immediate. It's like the phone that doesn't ring.
Yeah.
Somebody's just immediately there. It's like, oh, I wasn't even, like, I didn't even hear it ring.
Well,
so,
I don't have time to lounge today. We gotta be efficient.
Yeah, we got things to do. We're busy.
Busy.
All right, episode 128. Thought we haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought, and I keep getting bombarded with this. So shout out to media people. Do a good old fashioned brand review, right? Let's do. We did one on like the Nike Puma thing. We've done other sort of brands talking about other things that we've seen. We've all seen, right? Mm-hmm. Thought it'd be cool to do another quick little brand review versus blathering on about ourselves. And I keep seeing these Airbnb commercials. Yes, pretty cool look.
Air, bed, and breakfast.
Yes, I'm wondering if people know what B&B stands for. I
have to imagine they do.
I know, but I'm sure my kids don't. But that's not the target audience, right?
Right.
But I keep seeing these cool, fun, little animated kind of isometric perspective. It's almost like architectural sort of like it's almost like
game, little models.
Yeah, it's like a little game almost though too. It's a little pop up. It's really, really cool style. Touting the benefits of why would you stay at an Airbnb versus, a hotel and whatnot, right? So you're familiar with these ads, yes?
Yeah, and I just did a quick little, when we were talking about the idea, I just kind of ran through them again real quick.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm just going to start talking.
Do it.
I think back, like travel, right?
Yeah.
I think back to different ways and different campaigns where people have talked about travel and specifically lodging, right? So you've got, I loved, and I'm going to sound like an idiot, I think it was hotels.com that did the campaign, but
Okay.
it was, when we think about finding like little nuggets and truths, right? Commonalities for successful advertising.
Sure.
And it was, the whole spots were predicated around the moment that you put the key card in the hotel room and opened the door.
Okay,
and it was the moment you saw the room.
Yeah.
And it was such a great idea because everyone can relate to that. You get excited, you're nervous, anticipation, like, oh, I hope I have a good room. I hope I have a good room.
Yeah.
But, is it going to, and it doesn't matter if it's a Holiday Inn.
Sure.
Or if it's a Four Seasons.
Yeah, correct.
That feeling is, maybe at the lower Motel 8 level, it's, is it going to smell like old smoke?
Yeah.
Or are there going to be cigarette burns in the rug?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Or at the Four Seasons, is it going to be as awesome as the pictures?
Sure.
So I always thought that was a great way to talk about lodging during travel. That was just a great little insight.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool campaign.
Sure.
I don't remember how many years ago it was, but it wasn't.
It's been quite a while.
It's been a while, but I mean, I don't feel like it wasn't 20 years ago.
Yeah. Understood.
And this one to me is equally as smart, just in the strategy, because it doesn't focus on what does the room look like?
Correct.
What does the house look like? Because they can, as we all have come to learn, right, with Airbnb, you can get all different kinds of houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get the low end, I'm just renting a room in somebody's place, or you can get, I'm renting the mansion in,
Absolutely.
in Palm Springs or whatever. So,
and it's similar in regards to like a booking or booking.yeah or what you're talking about, in that it's business and pleasure, right? I mean, it's they're just providing the service to get you somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hey, I need to be in Cincinnati for a week. Would I rather stay here? Or, oh my God, I'm going to Portugal.
Yeah.
I want to stay in Portugal for that type of thing.
And I think for when Airbnb, couldn't tell you how long they've been around. It's been a minute now, but obviously when they first came out, it was such a new just business concept.
Yeah.
VRBO and Airbnb. It was so they had to spend many, many years explaining what it was, how it works,
Like,
why it's safe.
Yeah, I'm in someone else's house.
Yeah.
Am I going to see them?
Right.
Right.
So
that kind of stuff.
Which proved to be obviously a very successful business model, but they did all that heavy lifting up front to build, I think, that trust and obviously gain more people into the mix from a business perspective. Wow, this can become a incremental revenue for me,
Totally.
et cetera, et cetera. And so now they've made a big shift away from that, which I think is great, which is the focus not on what does it look like, but the broader benefits of travel and why people travel and the things people love about travel, but also the things that drive people crazy about travel.
Totally
so it's
agree.
just these sort of simple little truths and commonalities that I think resonate. And I was looking at the one just now for the Paris one. And it's talking about, hey, when you go to Paris, why would you want to stay on Hotel Row?
Yeah.
You're there to go for the authentic Parisian experience.
Absolutely.
Stay like a local. You're already trying to research the local great restaurants and the local great things to do. Stay like a local.
Yeah.
Which is a great...
Yeah, get the Parisian experience.
Yeah, which is a great strategy. And again, it's so well done just in the way the animation's done, the way the models are built. Everything is really, really well done. And then shout out to the notorious B.I.G.,
Really?
is the music drop at the end of that.
I didn't know
is
that.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it just fits perfectly. It's nice. It's upbeat.
Okay.
I used to read Word Up magazine. I mean, it's so it's one of those things where I think when they were concepting it, one of the writers was like, "Hey, what if we drop in?" And everybody was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they put it together, and they were like,
Oh.
"Wow."
Yeah. It fits like a glove.
It totally fits. And
funny.
it also, I think, it helps with the idea and the strategy that Airbnb can be anything for anybody.
Yes.
Right? All different musical styles and house styles and experiences and all of those things.
Yeah. Well, so that one is, live like a local, be like a local,
Right.
Have the true local experience, right? I love the one that is kind of that parent focused one, right? Where it's, hey, when you go traveling with your kids, right? It's very simple. It's a very simple direct benefit. When you travel with your kids, their bedtime is your bedtime.
Right.
Yeah? And it's like, oh, why would you stay in a hotel when it's like, it's time for little Timmy to go to bed at 8 o'clock. And it's the animation's great because it's all of a sudden everybody's in their pajamas. Like they get in the hotel room and then all of a sudden it's bedtime and blunk, everyone's in pajamas. And it's ridiculous looking that the grown-ups, these little animated avatars are in their pajamas, right? But it's, hey, when you travel with your kid's bedtime or your bedtime, why not stay in an Airbnb where you can put them in their room?
Right.
And then, hey, the grown-ups can still stay up and drink wine and watch TV and listen to music. Like you can do whatever.
Yeah.
And your takeaway from that is, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Like that is exactly a strategic decision. Keep your, and as a new parents or, just parents, you're like, oh yeah, don't break the bedtime because that has catastrophic events. I mean, it's hard enough with kids sometimes traveling and different things, right? So it's this one common sense benefit that just drives home like, oh man, brilliant.
Yeah.
Great truth in advertising kind
And
of
it's
scenario,
not a
right?
small benefit. It
Yeah.
can be a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a vacation game changer for some people. I mean, it really
kind of
can
funny.
be.
Yeah, it's like you don't all sleep in the same room at home.
Yeah,
right?
why in the world would you do that on vacation?
Yeah, why would you do that for a week down somewhere else like that?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, that makes a total sense. So I do love that one. There's a third one too, I believe, about like everybody going like girls trip
Girls
out.
Weekend.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
you
like
want to
a
talk about
Girls
that
Weekend one? Yeah, it's the idea that, hey, we're all traveling to go see Taylor Swift, in Nashville or wherever.
Sure.
I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
That's not really what it is. But we're all going to see a concert.
Yeah.
Girls trip, woo. And it's, hey, the concert's over. We don't want to all go back to bed.
Yeah, we all go to
or
our
maybe Julie wants to go to bed early. Or maybe Julie partook a little too much or something. And, whatever the case may be, we're all together. Right?
Yeah.
We don't have different hotel rooms.
Yeah, stay together.
Well, let's all stay together and hang out and after party, and we're gonna,
Yeah, why would you go to 4 different hotel rooms where you're not together on your girls' weekend?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you stay?
And the implied, obviously, well, there's a lot of implied benefits. One of those, the takeaway is, it's probably going to cost you less if you think about it and the math on it. So again, they're just talking about how to...
It's truth in human behavior.
Yeah, and how to elevate your travel experience based on the lodging alone, which is not a new concept. Lodging is important in travel and always has been.
Yeah.
It's just this great, almost kind of like duh moment. Like, why didn't I think of course.
Totally.
And they're really great, strong benefits and executed in a really great way. I mean, I love that you're talking about places to stay without showing places to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, animated wise, you get just enough of the hint of what's happening without
you get a lot of character and a lot of...
Yeah.
And again, it's been around long enough to know that we can rent all different types of things.
Yeah. Now, juxtapose that. I'm putting us both on the spot because I don't even know the answer to this, but juxtapose that with their main competitor, VRBO or Verbo, as it's suddenly been called, right? Verbo. Verbo is not animated, so we have a visual distinction between the ads, which I think is cool, right? And it's a little bit of your travel and your luxury, and look at how great these places are.
Right.
I don't really recall or know a lot about the Verbo ads, though, to be honest. I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to sound like an idiot, and I feel like I should know
That's the second time on one podcast.
I know.
Come on now.
Well, it's not hard for me to do, but maybe it's Verbo where they talk about staying in a place all to yourself. And like,
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
the
I think you're
renting,
right.
like, why would
Yeah,
you
it's me
just rent
time.
why
Yeah,
would
it's
you
me
just
time.
rent a room when, and it's got the guy in the Speedo in the pool? I think there's an ad.
Yeah, there's a woman there who has a dog, I think. I think there might even be someone that's pregnant or something before they have the baby.
It's kind of one of those things.
Self-care.
Clearly not as memorable in our opinions.
No, agreed. Here's an oddball for you. Worst travel or hotel experience? Do you have one off the top of your head? Because it's funny because you mentioned I can go first while you're
I've got one
while you're baking on the idea. But you mentioned like it doesn't matter the hotel key. It doesn't matter if you're at the Holiday Inn or if you're at the Four Seasons or whatever. That moment of like enlightenment or whatever. You have any really bad hotel stories?
I've got a good one, and it's got a surprise twist at the end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you need to go, but it's going to dwarf my story. I think.
All right. So we were, speaking of traveling with small children.
Oh no.
We were headed down with another family. This was years and years and years ago. We were headed down with another family to Disney World.
Okay.
And
it's the happiest place on earth.
right, that's right. and I'm like, and we did the whole thing. We surprised the kids, took them out of school. Like, guess what? We're not going home.
Yeah,
we're going to Disney World.
Okay.
I did the whole, everything. We did the whole thing. It was great. We drove down there the 7-8 hours to Orlando, or wherever it is, and cranky kids, cranky moms.
Been there.
And so we were staying at the Wilderness Lodge, which is one of the Disney properties.
Is that Animal Kingdom? Is that what that is?
Yeah. It's I believe it was called I know it's called the Wilderness Lodge because I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And so we pull up to the Wilderness Lodge, and oh my God, everybody's so excited to be out of the car. And here we are, and there's log cabins and logs and giraffes and things everywhere.
Okay.
So we walk in. And we go to check in, and they said, so about that, we have overbooked.
Oh no!
And we don't
at Disney.
At Disney,
dude, that never happened. Like the greatest customer service ever.
We don't have a room for you.
Okay.
Well, you can imagine how that went over.
Yeah, not well.
Not well.
Yeah.
And we had.
Now there are how many people? There's like 8 people or something.
There
What's
are. It was 2 families.
Okay, and you were supposed to stay in like a suite or something. Like everybody's jammed. Like
we have
multiple.
Okay. No. I think we had 2 side by side rooms.
Okay,
got it. We didn't want to stay together.
Yeah. One family on one side.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it was something conjoining or something.
Well, we got a lot of people and we got nowhere to stay.
But, and
there's no room at the end, Rob.
We don't have any room at the end, so we're looking around for other lodging options for you.
God.
Well, this did not go over well.
No.
And I will. The moms especially did not like this scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And so they flipped a lid as they should.
Sure.
And the next thing you know, they were like, the manager comes out and
yeah.
I'm making this story way too long, but and the manager comes out.
Can I interest you in some Stitch juice? Everyone?
And it's like, hey, good news.
Yeah.
The presidential suite just became available.
Okay, shocking.
We are going to.
Okay, we're going up there.
We're bringing back the magic.
Okay,
the magic is not lost, and we're going to move you to the presidential suite.
Okay, sweet.
And he's like, you are both going to have to stay in there, both families, but there's like 3 or 4 rooms. I mean, it's huge. And we're like, okay,
yeah,
okay, all right, we can do that.
Let's go take a look.
We can do that. So everybody's jazzed. Yeah, we're going to the got to have a special key to get up to the floor and everything.
Okay.
We're like, this is great.
Yeah,
follow the guy. All of our luggage. I mean, we have all the luggage.
Yeah.
Go up, get to the top floor, crack open the door to the presidential suite, thinking about that moment of crack open it. Oh, there are a team of painters in the presidential suite actively painting the place.
Oh my God.
And I mean, just fumes of wet paint.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
We have just gone from
we went from the basement.
We went from the
to the
4th level of hell,
and now we got to go back
to the 7th level of hell.
Yeah. Oh my
God. And I mean, just no. And you can imagine me and the other dad are just like.
Audible groan.
All we want to do is go down to the bar. At this point. Meanwhile, the moms are just raging.
Yeah, I have been driving for 7 hours with children, and
and I have to imagine. I don't remember exactly, but I have to imagine at least an hour had passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, since we pulled up to the place.
Yeah. You're in the lobby. They're clickety clacking on
There
computers.
are a million people there. It's overbooked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
So anyway, again, long story short, another hour goes by, rage fest.
Okay.
And they finally come back and they're like, hey, we are so sorry. We are going to move you over to the Contemporary.
Okay. I do love the Contemporary. It's the oldest hotel.
It's the oldest one, but it's like the most modern design.
Well, it's the one that has the monorail that goes through.
It goes
and it's
through the middle.
I'm embarrassed.
It's right
that
on the
I know
water.
this.
It's right on the lake.
I'm embarrassed that I know this, but it's one stop away from the Magic Kingdom, leaving the Magic Kingdom.
Correct.
It takes the longest to get around.
Yep.
Because it's like the end of the line. But
at the end of the day,
when it is full evac mode, boom, you're home. Yeah. That's the only reason why I love that place.
So they're like, we're gonna move you over there, and we're actually going to put you in one of the towers that it's the resident tower.
Oh, where people? Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
they're owned.
Like the timeshare owned.
We're going to put you in the penthouse at the resident tower at what's called the
Contemporary.
Yeah, Contemporary.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, great. That all sounds great.
Hooray.
Yeah. Hope it's as nice as the presidential suite that's being painted.
Yeah.
So reluctantly, we have to drive.
Now we got to get all of our bags.
Get our bags in. And they couldn't have been nicer in terms of loading us up and getting us away from the Wilderness Lodge as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, this story's been way too long, but we show up at the Contemporary. We take the thing up. And I'm not even joking you. It was like a 2-floor, maybe it had 5 bedrooms in it situation. It was one of the most incredible, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like
at Disney of all places.
At Disney of all places.
Yeah.
Full glass windows where every night
they have the fireworks there over the lake.
They have the fireworks over the lake and the dragons and the we had a balcony you could walk out and just watch that.
Oh my Lord.
Anyway, it ended up being
incredible.
Amazing.
Is it like New York, Manhattan, like super modern?
Yeah.
Such like just like where am I right now?
Yeah, like whoa. And, I mean huge. Ginormous, and we had children everywhere, and it ended up being great. But it was like we left there, and it was like, okay, well, we can never go back to Disney again.
Yeah. We'll never have this.
We'll never have this, and we never did. That was the end of Disney. For
One
us.
and done.
That was it.
One and done.
No, that was the second time we had been there. Actually.
Okay.
But anyway, that was my hotel story where it went from worst.
Okay.
To a good situation.
But it starts off bad, but it ended up well. So okay, I don't have a 20-minute Disney story of all things. I was thinking about the again back to the moment of zen, the moment of excitement of the hotel key or whatever that. I don't really remember how it ended. I mean, I think it ended fine or whatever that. But we were it was the Ritz, I believe it, Ritz-Carlton down. I think it was Lake Oconee or what? Isn't there one?
Reynolds Plantation.
Yeah, Reynolds Plantation, exactly. And it was, hey, we're doing a weekend down there. It's going to be great. It's awesome. And you're at the Ritz. I mean, it's like like good things are happening there, right? And it was, beep, boop, boop, get in the room. Like, this is a perfectly fine room. Like, this is a perfectly nice room. Someone before us clearly had a pack of wolves with them. There is dog hair everywhere. Like, all over the bed, all over the couches.
But the beds are made.
The beds are made. Like, the room is made, yet all of it, but there is hair. There is, like, fine, like,
that is not
hair.
Okay.
Like, it was like, oh, wow, this is not good. And we have 2 dogs. I love dogs.
Yeah, nobody wants dog hair in their hotel room.
But it was, man, I'm not, to your point, I'm not at like the Motel 6, the pet-friendly Motel 6, on I-95. You know what I mean? Like halfway through, which there's a level of expectation of like, hey, if I stay at a pet-friendly hotel,
maybe there's a stray dog hair.
Maybe there's a dog hair or 2 around. You know what I mean? Or maybe you hear dogs barking. I mean, like you kind of know what you're getting into. You go to the Ritz for the weekend, and you're like, wait a minute here. Like, I don't, ring, like, hello. Like, I'm going to need somebody to come over here right now, And it was one of those, like, I need you to see what I see.
Yeah.
Because I can't explain this to you.
How bad it is.
On the phone. And we need to move rooms type thing. And of course we moved rooms.
They handled it.
And everything was fine, But it was that like, yeah.
Like, and that's a big one because you're staying at the Ritz. You shelled out to stay at the Ritz, so it's extra disappointing.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Man.
So, and all's well that ends well. But it was very surprising, if that makes any sense.
Well, one last quick anecdote, and you were there for this. when you and I did a work trip to Charlotte.
I knew you were going to say Charlotte. What was the
And
epicenter?
we went to the hotel.
Oh God, that was bad.
I was on one side. We had separate rooms, obviously. I was on one side of the hotel, and you were on the other side of the hotel.
Yes.
Well, it just so happened that I go to tuck in for a good night's sleep for an early morning meeting.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
outside my window,
Yeah.
and strobe, lights, like a full EDM experience.
Yeah.
20 feet from my room. And I called down. I may have called you first. I was like, "Are you hearing?" And you're like, "No, it's great. It's quiet over here." I'm like, I don't know. So I called down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry. It's
It's Thursday night party
it's
town
the
or whatever.
Thursday night, EDM night."
Yeah.
Oh, and they do it. They only do it twice a year. It just so happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I need to move rooms, and they're like, "Oh no, no, we are at capacity."
Yeah, because everybody's here for the electronic
EDM
music
show.
festival. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I had to. I mean, I probably popped an Ambien and covered my head in a pillow.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh man.
But that was this weird. I think it's called Epicenter, and it's like it's like a complex. It's like Atlantic Station. It's like, oh, there's movie theaters, there's restaurants, there's parks, there's this and that. And it was like an outdoor electronic music but I remember the strobing lights, like laser light show, like crazy. Yeah, that was a pretty bad.
In my window.
Yeah.
And there was nothing, there was no sound machine loud enough to drown out. You could not, you couldn't avoid just thumping bass all night.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if you know this about EDM shows.
Yeah.
They don't end early.
No. They usually start late.
Yeah, start late
and end early.
And end early.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly.
That was pretty bad.
That was brutal.
Well,
we got off topic off of Airbnb, but anyway. Hotel. I mean, hey, everyone's got good, fun hotel stories and whatever. I've discovered that I love being places. I don't love traveling there, but that's probably
that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah,
we should do one about that. Actually,
sure. Yeah. Being places is fun. Getting there now is more challenging than ever sometimes.
Yes.
So, CrowdStrike. I mean, just in general, just globally getting places. It's. I don't have a level of expectation of getting anything done on a travel day anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like anything could happen on a travel day. So, but again, that's a topic for another time. But yeah, Airbnb, I think that it's a great example of finding those truths in advertising, and we're very fond of saying nobody likes to be sold to, but everyone will listen to a story. I think these ads are little vignettes that tell little stories that are eminently relatable to everyone. And the fact that they then self-select by little vignettes, right, of scenarios, I think really drives home the ultimate benefit of Airbnb and kind of ends, your takeaway is like, of course you should do that.
Of course you should do that.
Yeah, it's not a like, oh, maybe I should consider. It's like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
shout out to Airbnb and shout out to whoever did those. I don't know if they have an agency or if they have an in-house team, but whoever did those, great job.
Absolutely.
Great stuff.
Absolutely. If you're in the market for great stuff, where can the people find us, Mr. Rob?
Don't go to Airbnb.com. Go to mocktheagency.com, of course, or find us on the socials. We're pretty easy to track down.
Cool.
And hey, have a safe travels out there if you're going somewhere.
Absolutely, everybody.
And we'll see you
See you next time.
next trip.
Yeah, 129. Thanks.